There, David here, talking about how to develop fluency, the number one secret, and to show you how to use the dialogue creation worksheet that I've been creating and developing for the students in my pilot program for developing your personal English network. All right, so before I show you how to use this worksheet, go ahead, download it, print it off, and get ready to follow along. I'll pause. You can pause the video. I'll wait right here until you get back. Ready? Good. So before I talk about how to use this, though, let me tell you a quick story about one of my English students who is currently a teacher and how he learned to speak English. Okay? So, once upon a time, a long time ago, way back in the day, I think it was like 2001, 2002, around that time, a group of North Americans came to this city in Imperatriz. And they were going to spend like 2-3 weeks here helping to build a church, a construction project. And so they asked me to help them out as an interpreter. So when I got there the first night, there was this young guy who was about 14 years old, and his name was Mauricio. Mauricio introduced himself. Hey, my name is Mauricio. I'm wanting to learn English. I'd like to practice English. I'd like to speak with the North Americans who are here, etc., etc., etc. So I said, okay. So I watched him. He went around. He would talk with everyone and use the little English he knew. Now, he had never studied English in a school before, except just like what he saw in grade school and stuff, the verb to be and some grammar stuff and hello, how are you? But what he knew, he went around and introduced himself. Hey, how are you? My name's Mauricio. And the things that he didn't know how to say, that he wanted to say but he couldn't say yet, he would write them down in a notebook, right? And then he went home that night and he learned those words, got his dictionary, his old English books, and learned some new words, some new phrases. The next morning he came back and used the new words and new phrases that he had learned. And then at lunchtime, he wrote down all the words that he wanted to say but couldn't. At lunchtime, he went back, studied some more, came back in the afternoon, and did it again. And I was impressed because his English developed fairly quickly. So as time went on and I accompanied his progress, he learned to speak good English. He became an English teacher, and currently he teaches private classes to doctors and lawyers and people like this here in the city. So recently, when I started developing our pilot program for developing your personal English network, because the secret to developing fluency is to speak English, right? If you want to learn to speak English, you have to speak it. It's a habit. Like learning to play the guitar, you have to practice. You can't just read books about playing the guitar. You have to pick up the guitar, practice the chords, practice your strumming, right? Same thing with your speaking. You have to practice, learn the new words, to create the phrases. You have to practice your pronunciation and work on reducing your accent so that you can be understood. You can express yourself. So the way to do that is, like Mauricio, learn a little and use it. Practice right away. Don't study for years and years and years to then start speaking. So that's what this worksheet is all about, the dialogue creation worksheet. Because as I've been developing the pilot program, I realized that a lot of students, they don't know what to say. When they go to speak to someone, they're afraid of making mistakes. They're embarrassed of what other people are going to think. Totally normal. But you have to overcome that. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to prepare yourself, right? Just like Mauricio did. So what happens with the dialogue creation worksheet? This is every day together, as they're developing their personal English networks, together we develop and work on one of these so that they can go and practice, right? With my private clients, they fill these out, develop them. I provide some resources. they go and practice and actually use this worksheet. Okay? So as you'll notice, the first item is theme. So if you're obviously going to speak to someone for the very first time, you're going to introduce yourself. So the theme could be introductions. But you could do whatever you wanted. If you want to talk about sports, politics, if you want to talk about your hobbies, if you want to talk about your educational background, whatever you want to talk about, you can choose a theme. And then as you run through those 7 steps that we talked about previously, right? The idea is that you're going to pay attention to the gaps that you have in your language learning. What words, vocabulary words, don't you know how to say? What phrases can't you use to express yourself, right? So, got your theme and you think, if I'm going to speak to someone, what would I say? Maybe you don't know how to say it completely in English, but imagine in your mind what you would say in your mother tongue, and then how you could say that in English. Try to think in English, but if you can't think of a word, then you say, okay, that's a key word that I need to know to talk about this theme. So then you write it down and fill in the key words here in this square, right? So let's say you think, okay, I'm going to say, hello, my name is David. I've been living in Brazil for 15 years and I'm an English teacher. And you think, how do I say 15? Okay, maybe you don't. We'll just use that as an example. So think of other ways you could express that. I've been living here a long time. I've been living here since 2001. Okay, those would be some other ways that you could express yourself. But the key word 15, you write that down, and then you're going to go learn how to say that. 15, okay? So you learn how to say it, practice your pronunciation. How can I create some phrases with this in English to practice? I've been living here for 15 years. I have lived here for 15 years, all right? So then you can create some phrases, some filler phrases, practice phrases. Why is this important? Because when you go to speak, if you haven't prepared any phrases, someone asks you a question, you're going to go, and you're going to try to remember how to put the words together, the grammar rules, all that good stuff, and you're going to stutter and stumble, and it's frustrating for you and frustrating for the other person. So if you've already got some phrases written down, someone asks, how long have you lived here? Then you can already think, okay, I know this phrase. I've been living here for 15 years, right? So having these kind of filler phrases that you've prepared is easy because obviously you're not going to think of every question that someone could ask. They might ask a question that you haven't prepared for. So let's say someone asks, do you like living here? And you're not sure how to reply, but you can, or they ask why you like living here. So you could say, oh yes, I like it. I've been living here for 15 years, because you already know that phrase. And then you think up of your regular answer. Why? Because the people are very nice. And so you kind of have to think in the target language in English that you're learning to be able to say that. But having the filler phrases to insert along as you go helps you speak faster because these are phrases that you've already prepared for and you've practiced your pronunciation. So that's it. Very, very simple. Just 3 things, okay? Fill in your theme, fill in the keywords, and some phrases, filler phrases that you think you'll need to be able to speak with those people. And then you go, you practice with the people in your personal English network that you've been developing. And as you're speaking, just like Mauricio, you're going to think of other words you don't know. They're going to ask you questions that you might not be able to answer. You're going to think of other phrases that you want to be able to say. So write those down on the back of this worksheet and then go back and learn those and keep practicing. Cycle through this 2 or 3 times until you can talk comfortably about this theme. Then print off another copy, choose another theme, and repeat, okay? Just wash, rinse, repeat. Wash, rinse, repeat. And your English is going to grow and grow and grow as you learn new vocabulary words, new phrases, and you practice your speaking. All right, this is really exciting. I'm really enjoying this. So like I mentioned, this is what I'm using with my private clients in the pilot program for developing your personal English network to help you develop those 12 people that you need so you can speak English every day, like we talked about in the previous video. So if you want to be kept up to date, you want to know when we release more materials, we have more tips for you, or you'd like to even join the next pilot program, you can just fill in your name and email, and we'll let you know when we open up new spots. Okay? So I hope you enjoyed that. Go ahead, don't forget, download your copy of the dialogue creation worksheet. Fill out those themes, keywords, phrases, and go practice with someone. And then later on, if you want more help, leave a comment, ask questions. I hope to be able to help you, create more videos for you. If you'd like to join in the next pilot programs where we actually help you develop, find places, find people to insert into your network, you want us to help you develop your dialogue creations, you want to ask us how to say certain words or phrases, the best way to express yourself. So every day we're in there helping each other, not just me, but also the other students who are involved in a really exciting process. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I think you're really going to enjoy it. And it's going to help you improve and develop your English fluency. So, like I said, go ahead, fill in your name, email. We'll keep you posted on new updates, tips, tricks about your English speaking, and let you know when we have new spots available. So y'all have a great day, and bye-bye.